Welcome to the show, the Wingman Chronicles, where we deliver that like dominoes, cause your mofo mama knows. And it's story time, and we're gonna talk about fishing, the legendary Salton Sea. So let's get it, man. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to this content. And here we go. When you look at California, it's the biggest body of water in the southern part of California. I think in the 1920s or something like that, there was a dam that busted. And due to the rains, the heavy rains, it was flooding in the land and they couldn't stop it. And the trade company, Southern Pacific, which we will see on the 111 side, that's all you will see is Southern Pacific, some Union Pacific trade cars, but majority Southern Pacific, I guess that's their jurisdiction. Was it 1,000 train cars? Maybe they used to actually stop the flooding in from the heavy rains that was coming into the basin, to the lowest part of California besides Death Valley, the Salton Sea. It was a place in the 1950s. My stepfather would go there. The Rat Pack would be there. They had resorts. They was trying to turn it into Vegas. They was trying to turn it into Palm Springs. Okay? All right. When I got introduced to the Salton Sea, I was a young buck. I was real young, maybe like 8 or 9 years old, drinking coffee. With my stepfather and his friend, aka Cat Daddy. He drove one of them Mr. T 18 vans, right? Now, one thing I liked about Salton Sea, that it was desolate and away from society. They had their own town, probably about 700 people. It was extremely hot there. Extremely hot. The norm is 101. It'll reach to maybe 115 at times. And it was interesting. Legend has it that the Salton Sea was the actual bomb testing area for the bomb that they dropped in Japan. They actually said that, it was an active nuke bomb at the bottom of the Salton Sea. So you'll see the naval base, and they always had Marches Air Force Base. You see the jets, you see the fighter planes. They making their runs, they're doing their testing. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Story time, the Salton Sea. Also, legend has it that they found some giant remains. I don't want to get my brother Sanchez on. I never went that far to the mountains past the railroad tracks. My mom wasn't having it. But it was a thriving place in the 60s and in the 70s. I think all men should get with their fathers and do something like fishing and hunting. And it'll give you life skills. My stepfather always said this: if you learn how to fish, boy, you'll never go hungry. And it wasn't the fact that my stepfather was cheap. He was from Oklahoma, so that's their steez. We from Cali, so we don't know nothing about that country life. So we'll go to a place before you even start your adventure. You gotta go to a bait and tackle place and get your fishing license. And you get your bait, your bells, your sinkers. Let's talk about bait. What we was using was night crawlers, mealworms, anchovies and stuff like that. I didn't like to use anchovies because they'll fall off your hook. But my stepdad made this stuff called stank bait. And stank bait catches fish like that, what you see on the TV screen. The big ones. Salton Sea has two sides. It has the 111 side that stays close to the railroad tracks. On your way to getting to the Salton Sea, the city is called Indio. There's a lot of date farms and the Dole plant, the pineapple plant is out there. And the people, just regular folks. When you get off the freeway, there was this legendary diner that we went to. We'd stop there, we'd get some breakfast. Because that was like almost, I wouldn't say halfway mark to where we was going to go camp. But it was like just a stop area. Get some ice cream or something. I remember going and there was only two flavors of corn nuts. There was the original corn nuts and there was barbecue. Barbecue just came out. And so intriguing about these places that's away from the city, they have a place called a general store. You go to the general store, they got cherries in barrels, peanuts in barrels. You know, my mom, she would get her shop on and take it back. And the fruit tasted a little bit better than you get from the supermarket. So that's one reason we was getting the dehydrated fruits and stuff to snack on. It was prevalent. So we have breakfast and then we get back on the road to our destination. Now the places that we like to camp at wasn't the state national parks like Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach was more for like RVs and stuff. We'd keep on trucking until we get to Corvina Beach. And Corvina Beach was desolate. Trash cans, porta potties, nothing. So when you're out there, you gotta make sure you got your water, because they gave you water. But that water was worse than garden hose water. It's kind of salty. You could tell it was filtered probably from the Salton Sea, right? So we'll pull up to Corvina Beach, and you have miles of places to camp. So you're just out there on your own. The ground was had an abundance of scales and barnacles and clay. Now keep in mind, it was very, very hot. So hot that you would sleep in the daytime because there was just nothing to do. Your body would just straight go into hibernation because it was just too damn hot. Now the secret spot that we used to go to is this place that's an active volcano because there's a whole lot of geothermal activity around the Salton Sea. The secret place was called Red Hill. And I thought Red Hill was a hill. Later on, I found out that it was an actual volcano. And there was a small road that you only can fit a camper on one side at a time. And it'll take you to this little island. Red Hill looked like a construction zone with a whole lot of sand and concrete to it. Abandoned buildings. You're just out there desolate. But in those desolate areas, the fishing was off the chain. So here we go. Let's get to it. Red Hill, we'll catch some fish. But Corvina Beach, that was the spot. It was self-explanatory. We was there to catch corvinas, kingfish, yellowtail, tilapia, bluegill. Bluegill I used to throw back because it's a bony small fish. A lot of Asian people love the yellowtail, which is delicious. It's better than halibut, better than sole, better than perch. It was worth catching. But what you really wanted to catch, it was on that screen, the Corvina. My stepfather, he used that secret bait, did a long cast out, put some extra spark plugs on his line, came back to shore because he went all the way out to his neck and put his pole into the stake, slapped that bell on it, and my mom was cooking breakfast. She was making the potatoes first. And then we heard a ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, right? My stepfather pole almost went back into the water, almost got snatched up out the stake. He grabbed it. He said, "Come here, boy." He used to call me Junior. "Come here, Junior." He said, "Hold that pole." He said, "Give me some slack." I'm like, "What is he talking about?" He's like, "Give me some slack, boy." He's grabbing the line, he's pulling it. For me holding the pole, I can feel the fish moving, violently trying to get away. It took us a minute to bring it to shore. My stepfather was like, hold up, boy, hold up, boy. Don't let this one get away. Don't let this one get away. He went and got his hammer. We pulling the fish to shore. What we pulled ashore was something like you see on the screen right now. The head was the size of a bowling ball. It was the biggest damn fish I ever seen. It was the size of a small child. Usually I'm catching fish that's the size of, dinner plates and stuff like that. This was the size of a small child. My stepfather whacked it in the head with the hammer. It was so large that it couldn't fit the cooler, so we had to cut him up right there on the spot. And we made steaks with him. My mom was like, hurry up, y'all want bacon? We said, no, we don't want bacon. So we cut it up to Corvina, 3-inch steaks. And that was a breakfast that I can remember to this day. Corvina has this taste of just supreme excellence. You haven't had fish until you had Corvina. Once you have Corvina, you really tasted something. Some real ghetto caviar. We cut him up, battered him up with the cornmeal and those chicken seasonings. And had breakfast, right? Just ate him on the spot. Had breakfast. Another time, we was there 3 days and didn't catch nothing. The fishes wasn't biting, maybe they were spawning, and we didn't know. We had no clue. We stayed there 3 days. I seen fruit bats because when it got like dusk, the bats would start coming out. I said, this is different as a kid. When you go to Salton Sea, I need to let you know this too. Your attire, put all your clothes that you about to go out and do some yard work with. We had cut off pants, wife beaters, sleeveless. You need to really put on some sunscreen, and I'm talking to black folks, because your skin will start peeling. Yeah, it'll start peeling because you're getting burnt. I didn't know what that was. I thought it was because I went in the water, but what it is yeah, you're getting burnt. You're getting burnt. All right. Now, my stepfather, they like to be in the camper. They're in the camper playing down home blues, Little Milton, all that. What you can hear when Ranger pulls up, if Ranger pulls up, you hear some, hey, the blues is all right. Huh. Hey, the blues is all right. You know that? Right? Some Clarence Carter for some comedy. But you're out there. Me and my brother, we have a tent. I mean, we can set that tent up in 11 minutes. We were trained professionals because we done did it so much. we got some old carpet, we'll put that down first, and then put the tent on top of that. My stepfather had a generator, so we'll take the generator and move it a little way from camp because it made noise, but it had electricity. And don't think about watching nothing. Back in those days, you ain't got cable, you using the antenna, right? I think we was picking up channel 54 or something like that. But watching TV, if you didn't have like satellite, and this is way before satellite. I mean, you had VHF, UHF. Some of y'all don't know nothing about UHF and VHF. It was just 2 through 13, right? And then you have I think it was VHF was 2 through 13, and UHF. One of them was like channel 28. KLCS. Channel 28, channel 56, right? If you could get it, right? We had an antenna, it still didn't matter. So we wasn't really watching TV like that. We were happy for the fans, though. Because again, it's going to be so damn hot in the daytime that you're going to fall asleep. And me and my brother, they had the coolers with the sodas in it. But from time to time, we'd go get a Budweiser. Right? They turned up on that black velvet, that embassy suite. You smell a little bit of, a little bit of herb. They playing dominoes, right? Me and my brother will get in that salty ass water, right? Which would have drop offs, it was deep. But again, it was so hot, man. You just said, Cat Daddy brought his sons and stuff, so we all having a sha-na-na good time. We got the inner tube out there, right? We fishing, but we didn't catch nothing. After 3 days. And then lo and behold, the Asians come in. My Asian folks. Shout out to my Asian people. Keep in mind, my Asian people love that kingfish. They love the smaller version of the corvina, right? Which is so delicious. You just cut the head off, fry that bud, put it in a hot dog bud, right? And you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Meat slide off on one side, and just leave the big bone, and the meat slide off on the other side, man. I'm trying to tell you. Listen to me well. The Asians rolled up in some town cars. They rolled up in some town cars. 4 loads. I remember I was just fishing when they rolled up. I had my little pole, trying to make something work with these night crawlers. And our Asian brothers, they was cool, man. They was cool. They had their beers. They lit up some Buddha, right? And they did something that I would never forget in my life. They did something to the water. Whatever they did, the fish started just kind of bubbling and jumping up out the water, right? I mean, the fish came. They made the fish come, right? And I remember going to get my stepfather and his partner, hey, they did something to the water. Everybody catching fish now. Man, my stepfather and Cat Daddy, they went to get their tackle box, ran over there with their equipment like they was some paramedics. Now it had this little concrete drop off, right? Because keep in mind that Salton Sea was a city flooded a little bit. You might see a gas station, a store, it been flooded. It been flooded. It ain't receded yet. So it's this little concrete drop off. Like if you jumped into that water, you might have to swim. You wouldn't touch the bottom, right? Because that's the way it was dropped off. But it kind of looked like maybe a port, because they was doing the little naval, they were doing the naval experiments there, right? Because it's California, it's a body of water. It makes perfect damn sense, right? Just like Area 51, that shit's over there in that desert, right? You know what I'm saying? Isolated, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Man, the Asians did something to the water. Whatever they did to the water, they threw a Zinsu bean in there, or whatever they did to the water, man. Look, we was catching fish. One dude, he caught one. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it went from the small was first, and then we started catching some big shit. This was about maybe 11:30, 12. We got a good power fish on till evening. They didn't even have coolers. They opened up the trunk, threw the fish in with the plastic, and then threw the ice over it. What we was doing, we like to keep our fish in the water until it's time to leave. So, we got that chain thing, you stick it in their gill, right? You stick it, you string everybody up, you know what I'm saying? Stick that thing in that Johnny Gill, right? And then throw them back in there and then have them by the stake so they wouldn't go nowhere, right? We filled up 4 igloos. I was throwing in the hook with no bait and yanking them out. They let me hit the bud. Man, I was young, man. They let me hit the bud. Gave me a beer. They didn't even speak English that good. We told them thank you, because we wasn't catching the motherfucking thing before they came. They set it up shop. And they was off in the sunset. We stayed one more day. We could have left there right then and there because we had plenty of fish. But it's just the fact that we couldn't get our refund because, when you go to these fishing places, you gonna pay for the days that you gonna be out there, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta swerve to the what was that thing called? Because I think we had to do it at Bombay Beach. Go, like register and shit, letting them know that you out there. One thing I used to do, because I was broke, right? Nobody giving me no allowance. All them soda cans and stuff. Keeping in mind, the Salton Sea is there, it's bigger than the Great Lakes. All them soda cans, man, I went through them trash cans and dug in them motherfuckers just like you be seeing people. You be seeing people going through your garbage, man. A smooth probably 300. People would be like, here, you can have the cans, here. Crush them motherfuckers up. save space, put them on top of the camper, tie it down with a tarp, and we're going back to Cali. We got Cuddy Moo up in here, man. How you doing, brother? Salate. Yeah. I'm glad y'all got my likes up. Really appreciate that, Fishing. Hey, Wally probably do some fishing. Yeah, buddy. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said you was gonna go to that thing with Angie Stone. Yeah, man. Just reflected on them good old days, man. Them good old days. I'm glad you came through, though. Really, I'm glad all y'all came through to listen to some story time. Of the Salton Sea. It's sad. It just divulged into like damn near a toxic dump. It's just sad. Remember back in school they said about, they use technologies and then for that energy to produce whatever it was, it'll have a drawback. The drawback will fuck up the environment. Salton Sea has this place. The runoff from Mexico, it's like a stream, a creek. They used to call it the Old River, right? The Indians used to use that to travel, right? That thing is a cesspool of just mutagen. Think of the Simpsons, Springfield, Three-Eyed Fish, like because the runoff is the agriculture, the irrigation, right? All those pesticides for those, they have all type of like vegetable farms and like nothing but farmland, right? But that fertilizer, ain't good. I think it was putting things in the soil. These people these days, man, boy, fuck. Young Gun be driving all up on your ass. Young Gun and abroad, boy, shoot, driving up, like trying to make you go, man. Don't like that. Gets me upset. But fish, Salton Sea. It's great. It's a great place. Great place. I'm your host. And that was the story time.